And the governor wants to man up. He wants you to know that he's in charge. And so last week in a probably little noted press conference, he said the following. And you're supposed to...
It's that 34% of the state yet to...
from King 5, and this is the latest dire warning because of the Omicron variant and the blah, blah, which, by the way, Engineer Brady, I forgot, I'm bearing the lead. The Omicron variant found in, Thurston, Pierce, in a third county. So basically something that has the lethality of the common cold now. But so anyway, any excuse for more mandates. But anyway, so this is the governor late Thursday. So you probably didn't, because no one pays attention on Friday to the news, nor over the weekend. But anyway, this is your governor on late Thursday.
Get their first shot. Getting that population vaccinated is of the utmost importance.
In the next several months, or maybe the next year, you're either going to have had COVID, you're going to have a vaccination, or you're going to be dead.
Oh, I'll get dramatic music. I'll cover that with dramatic music next hour, like a sci-fi stab or something. So when I heard that, because I'm watching the local news. When I heard that, I went, "Whoa! Wait a minute! Now, is that happenstance that he used those three possibilities? What was that again?"
Next year, you're either going to have had COVID, you're going to have a vaccination, or you're going to be dead.
So I, like most of you, said, "Wait! Didn't the German Minister for Health, Jens Spahn, say that exact thing 3 weeks ago? Use those exact same words. Der Reichsminister für Gesundheit." And I knew I'd heard that. The reason I heard that was because BBC, which is on my XM radio, BBC reported that story because it's pretty ominous. You know, the German Minister for Health coming out and saying, and this is November 23rd, by the end of the European winter, quote, "pretty much everyone in Germany will have been vaccinated, recovered, or died," close quote. German Health Minister Jens Spahn has warned. I'd rather want a more optimistic guy than him. However, those are your three possibilities. And with one giant, between the U.S. and Jay Inslee, one giant difference, and of those three, I'll tell you what the difference was. But so, that was 3 weeks ago. That was November 23rd. Pretty much everyone in Germany will have been vaccinated, recovered, or died. Now, I don't want to give the kind of leg humpers that work on Jay Inslee's staff credit for being original. But I'm going to take a wild stab and tell you that stuck. They heard that, and that stuck. Because that's the kind of plain talk that we want from our leaders. We want strength, and we want vision is what we want. I guarantee whoever wrote that for him, because he did not think of that, whoever wrote that for him heard it thinking that nobody would be able to trace it back to Jens Spahn, der Minister für Gesundheit in Deutschland. Except that BBC is kind of a deal, and a lot of people listen to it. So anyway, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt because he did use his own words, and some of them were big words. So let's catch it again.
Of the utmost importance.
In the next several months, or maybe the next year, you're either going to have had COVID, you're going to have a vaccination, or you're going to be dead.
So he escaped, and I forgot to say. He switched it up. So I don't know. Maybe this is bouncing all. Maybe the German. Maybe this talking point is with all the blue governors that you give people three choices: vaccinate, recover, or die. Die. And so he went with be dead, which is there you go. But he switched it up. He said you're going to have had COVID, or as the German said, recovered, be vaccinated. Here's the difference, though. And as harsh and Germanic as Jens Spahn sounds, I'll tell you this. In Europe, the riots that you're seeing are about vaccination mandates, right? They are accounting for people with natural immunity. We're not. We are not. You're not hearing CDC or the NIH, Fauci's outfit. You're not even hearing them acknowledge that natural immunity acquired by recovering from COVID even exists, and that if there are people who need vaccinations, you're at the end of the line, the absolute end of the line. And now that you have variants that are breaking through the vaccination and causing many, many people sniffles and occasionally coughs in South Africa, probably if you can prevent that, and if it doesn't do any good anyway, what's the point and all that? Anyway, the point is, the Europeans are actually accounting for natural immunity. Have you even heard any federal authority, I mean last year and this year, even acknowledge that people are acquiring natural immunity, so you're not the priority? Sorry you had a bad week. In the case of my daughter and I, it sucked. I haven't had the flu that bad in forever because I wash my hands in junk. I don't get the flu shot because I wash my hands in junk. My daughter never been that sick, and it was 5 days of hell. But I got it on. We started the symptoms on Monday night. I was up and running by Saturday, and then I started donating plasma at the VA, LA area VA, and they were accounting for my antibodies every single month I went in. And I'm a former medical lab tech. I worked at the UW Medical Center in the lab. I know how this stuff works. And I said, oh, well, good for us. Yay, us. Are they going to open up school for those of us with natural immunity? No, well, of course not. They act as if no such thing exists. And then they point out, well, all your kids had to have shots to go to school when they were 2 and 3. Okay, I got that. Why wouldn't they do it every year? Well, because they acquire immunity to smallpox because they got a smallpox inoculation. So you're saying that the human immune system actually can work and occasionally defend itself. All right. No wonder we evolved. So anyway, that's a big difference, is that the Europeans are accounting for that. The Insleeans, not so much.
Means that 34% of the state yet to get their first shot. Getting that population vaccinated is of the utmost importance.
In the next several months, or maybe the next year, you're either going to have had COVID,
recovered,
you're going to have a vaccination, or you're going to be dead.
So anyway, there you go. So, okay, about that first one, I can call Olympia and find out about that, right? All right. Back in a second, a pair of tragedies, frankly, in Snohomish County. A 1-year-old dead by gunshot. We'll tell you about that. And a roadside suicide shuts down I-5 for ever. Back in a second. Bryan Suits here, 770 KTTH. Let's check the right-way traffic. And, what about this invasion of Ukraine? Don't worry. Grandpa Biden is on it. He's going to Zoom call with Putin tomorrow. That ought to teach him. And that'll be Putin told. We'll talk about that. Also, the worst Zoom call ever happened on Friday. A CEO laid off, fired 900 people by Zoom. I'll play that for you when we get back. It is 770 KTTH. Bryan Suits here. Back in a second, right after. You know what you should get used to is a lot of short yardage Adrian Peterson touchdowns.
For history. Adrian Peterson has just tied the great Jim Brown, 10th all-time in touchdowns with 126.
All right, Brady, you were correct. Tied. I thought he skipped ahead of him. But don't worry, there'll be more short yardage touchdowns in the future for AP, for number 21. For Blackjack Peterson, that's what I'm calling him. 21. Here's the thing. And if you weren't listening, I would, Brady, don't you think we had fast-paced, engaging sports ball talk at 6 a.m.?
Oh, yes.
Hey, wake up, Seattle. We the new sports talk for the first break. That, there was no context about, okay, great, you tied him 126 touchdowns and all that. Why the guys from the 12-game NFL are even in the current record book? Because, again, Jim Brown played in a 12-game season for 5 seasons, then a 14-game season for 4 seasons. He got to 126 touchdowns in 93 games. Speaking of burying the lead, you know what I forgot to mention about this Jim Brown? A couple things. By the time he was Adrian Peterson's age, he'd already done the Dirty Dozen. At that point, call it a life. Hey, I'm Jim Brown. Perhaps you remember me from the Dirty Dozen. And that was 1966. Here's the other thing, kind of a little deal. Jim Brown, and this will probably never be broken, Jim Brown, his career per game average, considering bad games and good games. Jim Brown's per game average, here's Brady with a guess.
You're talking about like rush yards per game, correct?
Per game. Just rushing yards per game.
I'm going to go with 125.
That would be phenomenal. Because the truth is, slightly over 100 yards, which is phenomenal. His career average game was over 100 yards. Nobody's close to that. I mean, okay. I mean, like you're in the 90s and high 80s. And granted, offenses have changed and, the whole thing. But there's your context. Jim Brown did what he did in only 9 seasons, plus shorter seasons than now.